It's official. The 2025 LDBC Meet and Greet in Las Vegas, Nevada, August 9th and 10th. Hosted by none other than 78 Sports TV, accompanied by many LDBC content creators you know and love. Come through and enjoy the LDBC Basketball Classic, where Team Voltron will take on LDBC Selects. Come on out and have a good time in a family atmosphere. Children are welcome. Get your tickets ASAP. Well, that is strange. It just stopped on me. Salute to the family. Blessings and thank you for coming in. Hey, everybody. I got a special guest tonight. My brother KG decided to come on in and pop up with me and chit chat a little bit. So, y'all, look, I came at first to raise the roof, but I'm not gonna do that tonight. I'm just gonna chill. But I am gonna say what I came to say. Please like the video and subscribe if you're not. I would appreciate that. Let me say hello to the family. Brother Joe Townsend. Salute, brother. Salute, Coach 67. How you doing? Thank you for coming through. I appreciate you. Coach Hudson. Woo, fire. Okay. Salute to you, Coach Hudson. Thank you. Thank you for coming through. How you doing tonight, KG?
I'm great. I'm great. I am well. Queen, I wanted to say this the last time I was on your show, and I said I wasn't going to let it escape me this time.
Okay.
Um, I was in my office, and I had a guy come in. We was talking about boxing,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was telling him, and I was like, I couldn't say this 5 years ago or 4 years ago, but I can say it now. And I was like, bro, I said, I know some women that know this boxing game and they can talk some guys under the table. You do something that most guys, men, are not going to say. We're not going to say, like me. I don't say, "Oh, I'm taking notes, so I'm writing down. Let me check my notes." But at the same time, that shows me what you want from this. You don't want to just see a Rock'em Sock'em uh, showcase. You actually want to see the science,
The
and you
science,
actually you
yes.
actually want
You
to
got me
understand
figured
it.
out.
You actually want to learn it. You actually want to be a part of it. You actually want to be able to engage in the conversation and not just be there to nod and smile and say, "Oh yeah, 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 he did do that. He did
Right.
not." You want to actually be able to provide some substance, and
Right.
I really do appreciate you for
Mm.
doing that because now I can say I know a woman or women that actually look at the science and not just look at it and say, this guy's just beating this guy up. This guy's beating the hell out of that guy. That
Right.
guy's running from that guy. Why he won't fight? Or look at his hair, or look at his nails, or why he got that. That's a nice bag.
Yeah.
I get real boxing. You know what I'm saying from shower.
No, I
Okay?
appreciate that.
So I
I
told him
appreciate
that,
that.
and he was like, "Really?" I was like, "Bro, you gotta tap in, man."
No, I appreciate that. I mean, again, I'm still really new. I've watched boxing for years, like with my family, and it's one thing to just watch it, like you said, as a girl, and watch it and be like, I don't think I asked none of them questions you just said, because that's really surface. But you know, I was a girl still. I was doing girl stuff all my life up until even having kids and all that, and then at 40, I've been married 26 years. And my husband been watching buying fights, and I might be up there and I'm watching and we talking, but I never really delved into it until he started talking to me about um, the fight between George Foreman and Lyle.
Mm-hmm.
That hooked me. That's the fight that hooked me. I had to say I had to really think back on that, like what did really change it, and yeah, the science of it. I don't really just care. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the business of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I found different people that I was already listening to, but the main person who also triggered me the most was Tay Jones,
Okay.
because Tay Jones always has a saying. Most people see two people moving around in the ring, and but they can't tell you what they're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was still learning, and I'm still learning big time, but
We all are. We all are.
yeah, but no, I'm still a baby. But man, I was like, I ain't gonna be like that, and because there's men out here be talking crazy, and you be like, what are you talking about? But they be talking like they know what they talking about. I ain't gonna be one of these people. I'm learning this, and I love it. I actually love it. So I appreciate that though. That you see that. I like the science. I don't care about knockouts. Nope. I like science fights.
Like, how did you get to the knockout? You get what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly. And
Yeah.
and can I personally see that over and again? Can I see
Mm-hmm.
that pattern myself? Salute to my great brother Aunt McQueen.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
spoke about him also. I was speaking.
Yes.
He actually came up in that conversation. I said, "Man," I said, "this guy was shining light on uh, the actual year of boxing that he was speaking of." I'm like,
Ant is, man, I'm telling
"Yeah,
y'all, he's a treasure trove. I really wish he would start a channel. I ain't even gonna lie. I would love if Ant would start a channel. Um, okay, so let me try to fix this because I got a weird camera. It does in and out, in and out. It does this weird thing, but I'm gonna try to make it relax. So
you got to change that on your settings."
Do you?
I knew a patient that had one, and anytime he moved, that camera is going to zoom or move with him.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have to. I have to go into
Unless
the
you sit
actual.
still like this and not move, that's the only. Yeah.
I can do that, but if I do my eyes or something, it'd be like, okay, I'm gonna have to figure that out. So yeah, I'll figure that out. So first, I want to start off. I did a video today, and I said my congratulations to Boots Ennis
Mhm.
because it was a great fight, y'all. Like the card was good, but what I wanted, and I think what everybody really wanted, and what we've been wanting to see for a couple of years, obviously, was Stanionis versus Boots, and how was that going to play out? Um, Boots put on, he put on, he put on. When I did my breakdown, I gave reasons why I think Boots could lose, or Stanionis, and I actually did pick Stanionis.
Mhm.
I'm the only person in the in the fight
You
pool.
stood on it though. I felt you
I
though.
will.
The thing is, I felt it. I felt what you felt, but at the same time, I said, I think Boots. You know what I'm saying? Based off of his special features, I think that's what was going to. It was going to fall on if he could stay in the game because
Exactly.
I knew he was going to bring the show. I knew he was going to bring the show, but I'm like, if he can't, if Stayonis can get him to the point where I don't know if you heard me on Usual Suspect Sunday. I said if somebody can bring him to normalcy where he looks normal,
Mm,
that's when I'm going to start raising my eyebrows and asking questions. But until then, as long as he's able to slip and slide, and as the fight grows on per round,
hmm
and you can see him changing gears. He got rid of the jab, and the uppercut became the lead punch.
Yeah. But the thing is, he started out with the jab,
Yep.
and he won, well, the battle of the jabs per se.
Mm-hmm.
He took control. And what my one of my keys was to try to stay as long as he can in that orthodox position, because in the orthodox he's quicker.
Mm-hmm.
He has more variation.
Mm-hmm.
The
The
feet
jab is
don't.
more fluid. The jab is more fluid in orthodox because I seen it really stood out to me when he switched to southpaw.
Mhm.
The right jab is good, but it wasn't as fluid as
It's
the
not.
left. Yeah.
And he throws it less. His feet also do a certain thing. In orthodox, he's more fluid with the feet,
Mm-hmm.
and in
Southpaw
southpaw, he tends to just kind of stand there a little bit more.
because he almost squares up more
He
because
squares up.
he already has a wide stance, but he squares up more, so he's not so much bladed. So
Absolutely.
he's looking to get, and that's where you see him get touched.
Yeah, he's bladed in orthodox, but he's
Yeah.
definitely squared up in south, and he's also getting hit there. He's
Mm-hmm.
also catching nasty little lefts and stuff there, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the uppercuts, I mean, all up and through from the stomach, the good solar plex shots he was getting all up the I said he's a guard buster. Both of them were.
But he didn't do
Well,
that. Did you see
can't do
it?
that.
No. Did you see him do any guard busting in this fight?
No, he didn't really have
He
to.
didn't have because he shot the body.
He will, but okay, so towards the end he was definitely up, because that's how the bloody nose came. Well, actually,
Uh-huh.
that wasn't even the end. That's what, well, it only went 5
Yeah,
or
he
6
was splitting the guard. Yeah, he was splitting the guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Like
those
third
uppercuts,
round, he was bleeding in the nose, yeah.
those yeah, it was about that time. Those
Hmm.
uppercuts, but I was telling everybody, I said those uppercuts, um, they weren't necessarily intentionally for the head. They weren't necessarily intentionally for the head. They were the
Body.
straight line up the body. Because like you got the belly button, you got your windpipe, you got your chest, you know what I'm saying, cage area, you got the collarbone area, your throat, you got the chin, you got your mouth, the
Mm,
nose, the bridge, you got everything going up that straight line.
that center line.
And
Yeah.
and anything that the forearms was catching, they were getting beat up too. So
Yeah.
so it was a good punch to do based off of Stayonis's high guard that had no variations to it.
And early, the power was there. Early, the power was there.
Mm-hmm.
When did my breakdown, I talked about his fight with Butayev, because that was his toughest fight that
Mm-hmm.
I saw. Stanionis. It was the roughest, most physical.
Mm-hmm.
Where he was taking body shots, lots of body shots, lots of behind the head shots,
Mm-hmm.
and he actually fared so much better in So I thought his body could withstand a little more, but again, I really didn't have anything to compare Jerron's power
Hmm.
against. Now I knew he had power, but
Hmm.
did he have power? We saw that
See,
he did
see,
early.
Butayev was there to have something come back.
Yes,
So as Boots is registering to the body, Steonis wanted to try to give it back so he can try to get the same results, but
their
Boots,
reach
yeah,
wasn't.
yeah, he wasn't there. He
But
wasn't there.
even when his reach was, this is my thing also with Boots. Okay, so he also established his range right off top, and he got into a good rhythm right off the top.
Mhm.
And what I really like I said, it probably is the body work, but what I yeah, that's what I really like. I definitely
Mhm.
love the body work, but I think what I still feel, I feel like something was still lacking on behalf of Stanionis, as well as not being able to maybe reach sometimes when he was close enough to actually get shots off, because he did get good,
Oh yeah.
clean shots off,
Hmm.
but not as many as he usually does, not as steady as he usually does. Geez Louise, I thought I turned this off, yeah.
Hmm.
Not as steady, because that's what I said about him. He is steady, he's a constant puncher usually, but Boots was hurting him so early. He was hurting him so early that you could see him like retreating off bat. And I was like, okay, look.
You know what I liked about the fight? You pointed that out, but what I liked about the fight, it was the fact that me knowing who Stanley was and what I've known him to be from what I seen, because me and Act Reach probably, you know what I'm saying, first two of the usual suspects that knew who Stay on this was.
Mm,
And I've been watching his career. The thing is, what I liked about it, Boots put it into a perspective that he didn't allow Stay on this to be Stay on this.
that's true.
So that's a
I
different,
give him that credit.
yeah.
Yes.
So that's a different fold of a fight when you're able to completely negate what a person can do. And the thing is, I don't think any less of Stay on this. I
Mhm.
think more of Boots now, because you came out and everything that we criticized you about in the first Karen fight and the things that you still neglected in the second Karen fight, you came out and went, you know what I'm saying, pedal to the floor with the output, with the pressure, with the movement, with, you know what I'm saying, and
Right.
you still found time to be a showman. You know what
Now,
I'm saying?
now, okay, now,
I
see,
know people don't like that, but if you got enough space in between you and your opponent, and that's the persona that you want to give off, and you're flamboyant, you've seen how he was dressed. He's going to put the show like he's going to bring the show. If there's a pocket for the show to be put on,
yes.
make him look normal, and we won't get the show. I blame
Okay.
the opponent.
I am gonna agree with you, but I told you this was initially gonna be as well as congratulating Boots and talking about the good things I saw.
Mhm.
Yes, I was gonna go ham because okay, you just said a few things that I don't agree with. The first Karen fight again, now Karen trained specifically, and people were saying he ran. That upset me because um I watched an interview of Karen and his coach, and they trained specifically to stay away from Boots the first fight.
Mhm.
So he did what he was supposed to do. He tried to hit and not get hit.
Mhm.
He did that to some degree, but Boots was still catching him. But it was ugly because Boots could not cut off the ring, right? So he didn't have to do that with standing on this. He would never have to.
Mhm.
So I don't give the whole Karen no. But now we go to the second Karen fight. Yeah, I could say that justice were made there, but there are still some unanswered questions, and that could be one because of the style of a Stanionis compared to a mover like a Karen, where Stanionis is pressure, where
Mhm.
he didn't even get to get them angles off. I was telling y'all about that. That boy was just getting rocked. I'm sorry. I wanted to say, okay, I saw something Ant said here about being in the arena. Um, Standing on this sounded more like a thud. Okay, you can hear them joints ring. It
Hey,
is something he said about being in the arena. Where are we at?
shout out to Coach Hudson. I ain't know he said what's up. What's up, champ?
Yeah. Speak to Coach Hutt and say, how you doing? How y'all
Shout out to the
doing?
chat. Yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat.
88 Sports Talk and BBO. Salute to the brothers. I just seen it. I don't know if you done erased that or what, or maybe I'm just being slow. But he said something to the effect of being in the arena and it was more precision than power. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
From watching it in the venue, it was more precision than power. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can agree. I saw some precision going on there, and but that power cannot be negated in the fact that again early he was crumpling. Stanley Honest did not want that body work off top. That says a lot to me because Stanley Honest has been hitting the body again. I gave him credit for being an
But you
Eastern
got to get
European
something
who
back.
could take some body shots.
Yeah, you got to get something back though. If you ain't giving it back or taking the risk to give anything back, and he was very strategic about when he threw punches because Boots is not a guy and he made it clear you don't want to just throw arid punches.
Okay. Look, we working our way there, BBO. We working our way there.
Okay.
So also something that I wanted to talk about is within the boxing community, and it was just pissing me off thereafter. Because and it's not just the Boots fight, but
Mm-hmm.
what I really try to understand is why is it that when people um give a critique, because a critique can be many things, obviously, but it is usually just an observation of what you see. And it could be for the good or for the bad. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're hating. I'm starting to
Mm-hmm.
hate that word, hating, because um, shortly after the fight, I had said something. I said, "Well, so the questions we had really weren't answered in that fight because that was not the opponent that would give Boots them questions that he would have to answer, where he'd have to really adjust." I also said I really don't feel like, because of the holes that I said in my breakdown, I don't feel like those were addressed. So did he do make adjustments? Yes, he did, but it was not the things that I spoke to. I'll just say that.
So
But
you wasn't fulfilled
say that
for
again.
you wasn't fulfilled based off of what you were your expectations.
No, not totally. I mean, and it's not even about my expectations. It's just about actually general, and that's what I was trying to explain to people was it's a general overall. When you do film study and you're not for or against this individual, you're just actually breaking down what you see and you're looking for holes.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is how I break down film. I look at one individual, I look for
Mm-hmm.
their holes, I look for their positives, I look at the same with the other. Then I try in my mind to run that down. Well, how can he, take advantage of him on this end with that? That's all it is. And I all I said was that the questions weren't answered as far as the holes that I brought up. And it's just like the crying began. The crying, oh, you're hating Boots, and it's like, dude, I
Mm-hmm.
just, I
But
just,
it's still an expectation as a fan, as a person that studied because you study and you look at what you study and you say, I think this should be the adjustment. But then when the fight happens, that's not the
it's
adjustment.
always a variable, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And it
Because
depends on the styles of the fighters, right?
like for instance, with me, the first round, were you backstage with us?
I mean,
When
oh
we,
yeah,
when
yeah,
we,
yeah,
when we
yeah,
had, like, so yeah, you was back there watching. You heard me when I said it. In the first round, I said, I think this fight is moving too fast.
yeah.
Remember I
I
said,
didn't
yeah.
mind that.
No, but I'm saying in my
Yeah,
mind, I was like, is this something that can be maintained? You know what I'm saying? Because I had
yeah.
heard that Boots was beating guys up inside of 4 to 6 rounds in sparring or whatever. So I'm like, if that's what the case was, I still don't think you want to start off that fast. And I felt like the fight, but then at the same time, I gave Boots, you know what I'm saying, Bozy, you know what I'm saying, his rite of passage to say this is our game plan. And if
Mm,
that's what it was, hey, who am I to, you know what I'm saying, to jump in and say I don't like? But me personally watching it, I had my expectations that it was too fast.
right.
But we saw what happened. You know what I'm saying? We seen the grow and we seen the transition as the fight went on, what it turned into. So I was like, well, hey. I,
You know what I thought about with that is okay, and I want to say you probably watched the interview after the press conference. They did an interview with Boots and with standing on it separately in their teams, kind of in the seats. Did you see that?
Say that one more
It was
time.
like a top ranked interview that they did
Hmm.
with Boots and his coach and team, and then one with Stanionis and his coaching team. Did you see
Hmm.
that interview?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Okay, well, in that interview, um, and also they did say that to each other. That Stanionis told him how he was coming. He's gonna
Mhm.
come with he said he was gonna be all gas, no brakes.
But you saying like
So
in the press conference?
that it happened in the press conference and also happened after the press
Hmm.
conference. They had Top Rank had their own little special interview they did with each
Hmm. Hmm.
dude, right? So he said he was going to be all gas, no brakes. So I think they had already planned for that because that's generally how, obviously, standing on his comes, right?
Hmm. Yeah. So, but regardless of what I say, I'm going to do or not do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You still gotta prepare for it and prevent me from doing what I say I'm going to do, or make me go to a plan B, C, D, or the rest of the alphabet. You see what I'm saying? So it's
Yes.
I can tell you all day. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna punch you with a jab with a double jab, and then I'm gonna step around and land something to the body because I know you're gonna throw a hook. I can say all that all day, but I can get in there and do something completely different. I can whoa
You
everybody to
didn't
sleep.
let me finish, KG. You didn't
I'm
let me
sorry. I
finish.
thought you put a period there.
I didn't put a period. I was still going. So I'm what I was saying is I think that this is why you saw the fast start.
Yeah.
In their preparation, it was probably we're about to get in here and we're gonna get it started before he can get it started on us with the all gas and no brakes. So that's why I said too, when I saw how fast he did come on, I was like, that was my first thought. It's like, oh, they trying to beat him to the punch. They did with the jab, but obviously, but it's like, yeah, okay, I see. I see. Salute to Stormy B, man. I see you in here. Great brother. And let me see. Well, BBO. Boost took some huge shots. Yes, he did.
Hmm.
I want to say I felt like he got stunned like twice. Can't wait for Norman Jr. wipes his work boots. His life was okay.
Oh man.
So also that we do have that. I had an issue with the post press conference. I truly did. And maybe it's not just him, but it's just these young guys and they're
Mhm.
I just don't feel like they be professional with the of the gum and the
Everybody ain't media trained.
oh god. Well, he need to get some training because it's not in the all in the phones. Let me back first too. And y'all look, this is just my personal thing. You know, you don't have to agree with me. I don't have to agree with y'all. I don't like the showboating in the ring. I mean, I do to some degree, you know, a little bit here, but and in this fight, maybe it was apropos because you put on man, okay, that was a show. But
Mhm.
then some of the other times it's like distracting a little bit, and I just feel like, and I said this before, he's gonna do that with the with the wrong person, and that's on him. He
Mhm.
gonna do that with the wrong person, and he gonna get caught. And just like I feel like Tank does that, staring off into the crowd, and Lamont caught him, luckily just once. I don't care for it. You know, everybody's different. I just think it's a lot. He be doing too much.
See, I don't condone it, but like I said, if you're not my fighter, do your thing because
Yeah,
you're gonna find out one day. You're gonna do it at the wrong moment. Prince Nassim did it.
yeah.
Um,
But see, okay,
Brona did it. You know what
there are
I'm saying?
certain people. You know what? And with that, I can't say that. I was gonna say there are certain people where it's kind of fitting because on the outside of the ring you see them like that, but
Mhm.
Boots on the outside of the ring ain't like that.
He laid back.
He and very quiet, and
Yeah.
I was gonna say mousy, but I don't call that man mousy.
What is
But
Mousy? Is that a Colorado thing? What is that?
No, and it's probably more like a bookish, nerdy
Oh, okay.
mousy. Yeah, but he does. I actually, when I did first learn of Boots a few years ago, I was like, yeah, this dude's kind of like a little boxing nerd. He don't. I ain't gonna say the rest of what else I was thinking about. Just like, man, but I don't know. I just, to each his own. Again, to me, I don't feel like that's me hating people. Just
No, it's
for the
not.
record, it's
It's
we
not.
have
It's
a
it.
preference. But there are people out here that are going so ham for him. You can't say nothing. It's almost like Tank fans all over again.
But that's just like any sport. People they feel like they got stock in that person's, you know what I'm saying,
You
outcome.
don't. I mean, we pay for pay-per-views. That don't mean I get to go dictate anything. Yeah.
Uh-uh. Do your
Stop
thing.
looking around, boot. Look, and check your messages on IG, sir. Please, sir. Check your messages, sir. RJ did it a lot. Oh, Roy Jones Jr. But Roy still was, I would say, on the outside of the ring. I could still see the,
Yeah, he still had the flamboyance outside the ring.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
So,
could still
but
see
so
it.
you're saying uh Clark Kent can't turn into Superman.
Clark Kent can turn into Superman, and so there. With that said, I'll back off. I'll back off of that. I mean, I'll just keep it inside because I still don't really care for it. But I mean,
Mhm.
again, it's just a personal preference.
Yeah.
Um, or maybe I even feel like I said, in this fight, yeah, maybe it's fitting, but in other fights, like the Karen fights, it's like, nah, dude, chill out.
Hmm.
I want to ask you, how did you feel about the corner this time around?
It wasn't the current corner, because that corner was what was irking me. Hey man, hey, what you doing out there, man? You know what you need to do. Stop playing, man. Going out there. I'm like, this one,
It
you
was
can
straight
actually,
it was some
yeah.
instructions. But
Ain't
how
no
do you feel about how it was being received?
um were you a part of the conversation when we talked about whatever that consistency is in that camp? So based
Yes,
on how
of
it's
course. He was
received,
on my channel.
yeah, yeah. So same thing, you know what I'm saying? So whatever their relationship is and how he received it and how he carried it out, and aside with still looking out the ring, and hey, like I said, if that's the relationship in the gym, and if we ain't heard him going off on him and telling him to stop doing something or pay attention, or like I said, when it comes to that day, that's when they're going to find out what the because you got pros and cons with everything that you do. That's what that day you're going to find out what the con is, and you can be like, man, we shouldn't have allowed that to be conditioned into us.
Hindsight is 2020. It's too late.
So yeah, so you're going to find out one way or another. But if he's able to have a successful career with that same, you know what I'm saying, things, you know what I'm saying, order of operations going on,
Mm,
then it worked for them. But at the same time, that's an anomaly. That doesn't work for everybody. Just like all these kids they want the bag, they want the bag, they want the bag,
yeah,
they want the money, but they don't want to go through the pretty boy phase.
right. They
You
don't
know what
want
I'm
to
saying?
work for the actual
Yeah, they don't
legacy
want to
of
go
the
through that.
bag.
They see the end result. They don't want to go through.
I say that all the time. Well, what I say all the time is, if you fight the fights, if you do the work, the bag is gonna come. But these dudes want to skip straight to the
Yep.
money to some degree. But I mean, well, who do you blame for that? The people that are, to me, the people that are paying these people these crazy amounts of money to do nothing.
I,
That's who I would blame.
I blame the people, like you said, yeah, the people that are putting you in the position, because, like I said, at a certain level, a fighter is supposed to live a fighter's lifestyle. We got
Yeah,
to find out what that hunger is. We got to find out if you're really trying to get to it. Because
hunger. Yeah.
if I'm feeding you 4 course meals, and you know what I'm saying, me, I don't eat steak, but if I'm feeding you tomahawk steaks out the gate, what are you're not going to accept the
You ain't
damn
going back
the
to no
banquet
little,
the banquet Salisbury steak when, you know what I'm saying, when times get tough. You're not going to accept that.
not the banquet Salisbury.
Yeah.
The process.
You're not going to accept that, because you can be like, nah, bro, you gave me a tomahawk.
You gave
And,
me the top
and then,
notch off top, right?
yeah, I done had 6 tomahawks this week, man.
And now they doing that. I feel like they're doing it. We're gearing towards that, but
And
we're
that's what we're doing with certain fighters because we prematurely call them the goods.
Mhm.
They still got to go through the rigors of what boxing is. I got to still be able to see you with different looks. Most of these guys still struggle with southpaws. Most of these guys still struggle with pressure fighters. But and you find that out because whoever's managing or operating these guys' career, they keep those guys away from those guys. You
Right.
like, why are we doing this? And we still want the because we're in the social media age. These guys, it doesn't matter. This guy knocked people out. Man, look that's I don't like that part. And I don't know how we're going to get away from it. We're going to have to bring pure guys in that's going to be standing on it, but at the same time, we still got to feed them too.
I think that's coming with the younger guys now, with your generation, along with the Abdullah and Keyshawn. I think you're starting to see that. But again, with the pay part, I mean, would you pay them less off top to
I
work them
think
up?
you
Because you
got to
can't.
do it.
The guys that you throwing money at, you can't just like you said, you can't
Yeah,
go
that's the
back.
thing. Everybody's just throwing it now, especially with Turkey Al Sheik coming in when he came in. But you can see
He's
it's a
changing the game up, though, man.
it's a pump in the brakes with that now because
Yeah.
the money ain't as big as it. Yeah, but
Look at
that's
just what just happened with the Shakur thing.
I just drew your attention though. I got your attention, and that's
Yes,
usually
it was the
yeah.
lure.
Yeah,
It was the carrot on
that's
the
the
stick.
usual old school way of getting you. Look over here. You see it? You see it? I got your attention.
It was the carrot on the stick,
Come on in.
and
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 like I said,
and
I'm not saying it's a bad thing because majority of these guys are still making more than they've ever made. It's just less than what was being initially paid out.
yeah, and I will say though, I don't like the model. Maybe it's just yeah, I don't like the Dana White model, and I don't like that pay scale that they're throwing out there.
Mhm.
Joseph Townsend, you got a point there, sir. I have to agree with you. If you do it in one fight, you got to do it in all. So,
Look,
again, yeah,
look. I'm gonna say this about Dana White, and I know it's unpopular. The only upside I see to Dana White, these fighters are going to have to fight. You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
well, that's what we want still
That's
too.
and like I said, so as a fan, you get what you want, but at the same time, you got to deal with the BS too. You're gonna have to suffer through the BS, or that's just like in a relationship. Do I want to cut bait and give up on your BS that I deal with and go deal with new BS? And that's what we you know what I'm saying. You're like, do I want to deal with this? She puts the
Well,
paper, look, shower. She puts the toilet paper under, not over, like I like it. So you know what I'm saying? How do I approach?
I
So
like
that's
it
what
over
it is.
it.
So it's a pro and a con to everything. And like I
That's
said,
right.
if Dana helps more than he hurts, or hurts more than he helps, then we're gonna find out. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
and if they work it right,
Yeah.
I mean, okay, yeah. If they work it right, maybe it would be wiser to start on the smaller end. It's just that it's Dana, and we already know he'd be shortchanging people. If
Hmm.
you work it on the smaller end and then work up a little bit more as far as the pay goes, you can still get them to fight. And I don't know, when you're fighting so often too, that's gonna add up. But then we also
Hmm.
know that's wear and tear on the bodies. How often are they fighting? Because them people they be fighting way too. I mean, I don't know. Is it just a smaller pool? Because I don't watch UFC, so I'm assuming that the pool of people to select from is smaller because they fight all the time, and you like, dang.
But the people still show up for it, going crazy for it. I'm like, I'm
So
like,
the people will because we like the violence, but
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
it's the
So.
fighters because they showing up because they getting paid ten
Hmm.
thousand
And then they never get it.
dollars.
And then look, and I think about it, they never get a real. You never really get a real uh like staple champion because he got a target on him, and he can't get a soft touch.
Right.
You right back in the
And he's
fight.
gonna be jacked up
Yeah,
later
you right back
on
in the
in
fight.
life.
So look, your light touch is your time off. You know what I'm saying? That's
Jacked
your
up
touch.
though, yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
But then there is a larger pool in boxing, but then when people really start looking at that model over there, who is going to sign up for it?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm wondering.
It's going to be the guys that, you know what I'm saying, the likes of like the pro boxers, the guys that are not getting paid, not getting
Yeah,
seen.
I hate that though.
I hate it, but at the same time, as fighters, you go back to yesteryear, these guys fought monthly, more times in a month than these guys fight in a year.
I
And
say I hate it. Go ahead.
but I'm saying I understand it's the fighter's lifestyle, you live the fighter's life, but at the same time, a fan, as a fan wants to see you fight. And if I
Yeah.
know you just fought and you knocked your guy out in the second round, yes, I want to see you 3 months from now. That's what a fan is going to say because you didn't take no damage.
I
Get
hate
back
it
in.
for a different reason though. I hate it because there's people on Pro Box that I would love to see mixed in with the guys that we have on Top Rank,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
know, yeah, I don't
Know
want to
some
see
guys
them have to
personally.
get
Yeah.
put into some type of league, and then, but I mean, maybe it's going to be possible because now we're starting to get the different promotional companies working together. Maybe Pro Box will be able to be a part of that as well. I'm praying so. And then the people who go to TKO is that's just going to be their choice. But I will say that that is the good thing about Turkey. He did spurn these guys to start getting on their game over here and start mixing these promotional companies. And then you have other things like
Mm-hmm.
what's going on with ESPN and Top Rank, and with the PBC. They have to have somewhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
They all these people got to have somewhere to go, so they got to work together. I like it.
And you know what I say to that? I put more onus on the boxers now. You employ what I'm saying, good management, because your management is the one that should be, what I'm saying, letting you know what that was and that word, the difference between that is and that contract, and if they're getting over on you. You know what I'm saying? If this works in your benefit, are we signing something? Are we signing your life away? You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
you got to have somebody in your corner that's going to actually
yeah.
manage. Don't let the promotional team
But
just.
it's also on the boxer too, like you said.
That's what I'm
You
saying. Yeah,
need to be on
yeah.
the P's and Q's on who's on
You
your
have to.
team.
This day and age, boxers, fighters are not just assigned like yesteryear just to fight. Fighters fight. You know what I'm saying? Managers manage and promoters promote. No, if you're in the room and you're privy to what's being said, you need to let some of that stuff stick to your brain too.
I wish the fighters were in the room, but from what I heard, they're not. They're not in the room unless you are your own promotional
Mhm.
entity.
Well, when they give you the information, make sure you get it from different points. You like, all right, what you just say just happened? Boom, boom, boom. All right, cool. Now casually have a conversation with somebody else to get the business of it all. And then you try to tie it to what's said to, you know what I'm saying, in comparison to
Yeah.
what your business is.
They should
And
definitely be more in
start
tune with
asking
what's
questions.
going on in their own business, because it's your stuff at the end of the day.
Yeah,
And
at the
and
end of
that's
the
not just boxing, that's just sports in general. These guys
mm-hmm,
need to be more savvy.
mm-hmm.
Coach Hudson says some people critique out of love of the sport, and some always move the goalposts because they don't like certain fighters. I can see both
That's
sides.
a fact. Yeah.
Okay, so mine is definitely the former, the love of the sport. Now I will again, if I feel a certain way, look, for instance, y'all, look, I support Brian Norman more than I support Boots, but I don't not like Boots. It just is what it is. So I'm gonna be honest about it, but at the same time too, I'm gonna critique especially when it starts coming down to studying and looking for that. Maybe that's just my thing. It's just a weird thing, looking for holes in
Mm-hmm.
styles. I'm not gonna lie about my favorite fighter either. And if they full of poo in my mind, if I can see that there's actual evidence of it, then yeah, I'm gonna take them to task. Now with this whole money deal, I've been riding for Brian Norman, but at the same time, I could also see where Boots I felt like was getting strung along, because I feel like the devil is in the details, and the devil is Eddie, and that's just that's just what I feel like is going on. Let me see. I've been missing a lot of comments. I was here, then a phone call came. Welcome back, Steph Brown. It's good to see you, great brother. Thanks for stopping through. I appreciate you. Hey,
So
Dub Brightside, how you doing? How you doing? What's the consensus among USC fans? Are they satisfied with the product? It seems so.
It seems
I'm
so.
not one. I don't. I've never watched it, but most people rock with it, and they say they prefer that over boxing. Maybe because of the whole business that comes in and all the rest of the BS. The ring mag crap sucks now. Somebody else's new toy now. Yeah, look. Yeah, but they still got an old funky soul up in there, and his name is Dougie Fisher. And I really wish they would have got new editing um, department. I don't like Dougie. It's still the same crap, and I know it's still he's still he doesn't know he's black, y'all, and it's still some racist stuff gonna be going
if
on.
if you ain't saying fresh at the end of that, I can't be a grown man being called Dougie. I can't.
What about Fisher? You can't be called Dougie
No,
Fisher.
no, no,
Douglas.
because I know it ain't fresh. I know it ain't fresh. It's fishy.
Here we go. Oh, two
Oh,
cents.
her.
Salute. Dougie Fishy. He is a fish. Yo. Anyway, MMA is a fight turned sport. Boxing is a sport that turns fight. Okay. Come on, two cent. Let me
Yeah.
see. I don't understand it too. Okay. Oh, y'all, I'm so far dang dong along behind. Salute to the brother Darius Gilliard. Thanks for coming through. So yeah, basically that's really all I wanted to I just wanted to say that just because someone is giving a critique or their thoughts or feelings, and it's not really people obviously who come to my channel. It's not like I have a whole bunch of people that come to my channel, but that a critique is not a criticism. It is actually looking at things with an objective eye, and people should be able to voice how they feel about any of this stuff, any of these fighters, their style. It since they done threw the business in our face and we're privy to it now. That as well, like it's not the big deal that everybody makes it out to be. I feel like when you try to hamper somebody's opinion, that you're fanning. Just respect people's
That's
opinion. If
all.
you don't like it, I mean, you can try to argue it with them, but just
Mhm.
move around.
People be overly passionate, and then it is what it is. Because look, you're
Yeah,
you're 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 in Colorado, right?
yes,
You're a Denver Bronco fan.
absolutely not. Never have been.
Okay, well,
But
I
I
was
know some diehards that I
yeah,
used to live with.
and I was going somewhere if you was. I was about to say because I know you would be like because I'm an Arizona Cardinal fan. They haven't won anything, but at the same time, I'm still a fan. But I know a guy at my job that's a Denver Bronco
Arizona?
fan. A guy that's a Denver Bronco fan that will argue me down. I'm like, why are you arguing? I'm telling you, that's your team. This is my. I said it's my team because I became an Arizona Cardinal fan because when I lived out there, I was cool with everybody on the team, so I started supporting the team based off of who I knew.
Mm-hmm.
So when they actually had, what I'm saying, good players, I kept up with the Larry Fitzgeralds, the Anquan Boldens during that time. That's what they're doing these times I was out there. So during that time, I'm like, why are y'all hating? I'm like, that's not your team. Did you buy stock in that team? And they're like, what you mean? I'm like, you keep saying my team, my team, my team. I'm like, I actually know these guys, so I kind of say my team. I know the coach. You know what I'm saying? I've met people, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of that's why I kind of say it, but at the same time, I'm not gonna die over no
Right,
team.
right, right. I'm just still shocked that the Cardinals really. You how long you been over there on the East
I was,
Coast?
I was,
You
I
don't
was
understand.
when I lived out there. I lived out there a total 10 years, and before
Okay.
that, I can honestly say I was almost like a lot of people. I was a San Francisco 49er fan
Yeah, I know
because
that.
Joe Montana, Steve Young. When Steve Young took over, that's when I really became a 49er fan because I like Joe Montana, but I was a bigger fan of Steve Young. So
Okay.
yeah, and then everybody from that point.
Usually, yeah, if you over here is the 49ers, Raiders, or like a lot of people here in Denver. If they're not Bronco fan, they're Kansas City Chiefs. I got a lot of
Hmm.
them up in here too. So
Hmm.
hey, Nick J,
There she go.
yeah. So well, as far I thought that I would have company, but I guess not.
I'm
That
good
being
enough
said,
company. I'm good enough company.
You
Yeah.
are excellent company. I'm very, very happy to have you up here. I appreciate you. I did pin this, you guys. If
uh,
somebody else wants to come up here and chit chat with us about it, I
hey,
know
Steph
Steph and
Brown.
Ant.
Steph
Steph and
Brown.
Ant, yeah.
No, Steph Brown.
Or,
I got a nickname for Kyler Murray. I call him Chucky. So yeah, he is too small. I call him Chucky.
if Dana makes an Ultimate Fighter boxing version TV series, these boxers right now better start fighting the best. Again, Coach Hudson, I think with the younger guys, we could probably see something like that.
Hmm.
These older guys,
But if he
I
gets a
just
look, if he gets a reality show with that and the way these kids are chasing clout right now, think about that.
that's what it would be the young ones though.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
won't like it per se, but we might like what it produces based off of whoever is skilled and whoever.
We'll like the violence.
You there?
I'm
You
serious.
there
We'll
for it?
like the
You there
violence, and
for
if
it?
there's and if there's some science, like you said, if you got some good individuals within it
Mhm. Yeah.
that have the skill level, and we could see, because my thing is I like to see fighters advance fight to
Hmm.
fight. I like to see the nuances of the changes you make, the adjustments you make. So if I could see that in that type of a setup, heck yeah, I'll watch them
So,
little
so,
lions beat up on each other.
so you cool with like personalities like Rolly Romero's and Blair the Flairs being amongst, you know what I'm saying? Like when we see hybrids of that in that element.
Am I cool with him in boxing like right now?
I'm
Or
just saying you'll be entertained by watching that.
you know what? That makes me think of wrestling, especially you start talking about Blair the Flair.
Uh-huh.
And I used to like wrestling, but I
Mhm.
guess in that type of a setup, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, why not? Let me see. He's basically from my hometown and went to my dream school from football.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's talking to KG.
Yeah, he's talking about Calamari.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
UFC gets 4 to 6 big fights a year. Do they? Again, I don't follow the
Yeah,
UFC.
I don't follow with it either, but yeah.
I tried to I told Tay Tay to try to help me get off into the MMA. Y'all be struggling, and it's just so much going on with boxing, especially because it's tuning up right about now. That it's a lot of studying I be doing. I'm still fairly new to it, so I'm still trying to go back to old stuff. People be suggesting stuff I ain't seen. I'll be running upon stuff that I ain't never seen. It's like it's a lot to boxing, and it's a lot of storylines within it. As long as they fight, right,
Mm-hmm.
right, Nick. As long as they freaking fight.
Be entertaining, and then they can get that contract that we talking about, that bag that we were saying, like, hey, you get a, like how he announced, oh, you get a $500,000 fighter contract, blah 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 blah. Or in this case with boxing, more because we're gonna be bringing, we put more into arenas than the UFC do. They're smaller arenas. They're
Right.
not they're not packing out 10,000 in the same in one arena like that. They're not doing that. I
But
think that
okay,
I
if
think
it
they're
was
smaller.
something that's sensational, you don't think it could grow to something bigger?
The UFC can grow to that? No, I think
No, this
no,
fight.
boxing. Oh yeah, boxing can. Yeah, most
Yeah,
certainly can.
yeah.
Because Dana is, you know what I'm saying, not the one doing the executive production. He's not the one putting on uh the the open workout with plane entrances and boat, you know, shuttle rides and stuff like that. So, you know what I'm saying, as long as that's able to be put on, these guys are still putting the show.
Steph Brown. Oh god. Okay, UFC is absolute trash. Again, white guys with no skill. Sorry, not sorry. However, you can't be undefeated. Too many styles. That's what's up. But too many. You know what, Steph? God dang it! I don't want to read that
Look, I
nasty
tell you
word.
this. I train mixed martial arts. So, you know what I'm saying?
Mm,
It's different. Boxing has always been my heart, but I train mixed martial arts because it's like the people, I think the people I was around at that time, That's what they were about. And I kept trying to force boxing, and it was like, no, you gonna have to get down with this. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much when we trained, so because pretty much like we boxed, of course, so we shared. So
Yeah,
I fell in love kind of with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because
that's what I was gonna
it,
ask you with discipline.
yeah, because it was the fact to me that a smaller man could beat a bigger guy on the, you know what I'm saying, if they ever were to go to the ground. And I wanted that
Mm.
mindset because I remember growing up, we used to wrestle. You slam somebody, you slam them, you pack them out, get them up out of there. But jujitsu, say you fall, you trip over your own foot, and now you're in a vulnerable position. This person on top, do you can you maintain the composure to let them exert their energy and put them in compromising positions? You see what I'm saying? So you can get yourself back onto your feet into safety.
Right, right,
You
right,
see
right.
what I'm saying?
I'm
So
just, I'm like,
I grasped that concept when it came to it. And I said, man, I kind of like this because say I do trip over this curb or whatever the case may be, and I lose my feet
hmm.
and I'm in a vulnerable position. How do I get back to my feet so I can get back to boxing?
So Brazilian Jiu Jitsu is not like just more tossing and using your your force. It actually has something to do with hand to hand combat,
I'm
or
you
no?
know I'm utilizing your force against you. So as we're
So it
in
is
the
your
position,
force.
so if you're like say a wrestler's mindset, he wants to pound on me. So if
Yeah,
I'm able to be on my back and maintain and judge where these punches are coming, I can catch something and end up rolling into a transition into another position.
using the force.
Just utilizing movement and like I said, um, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu it taught me to be composed because most
Mm,
people you go to the ground you're going to go into a panic because you thinking about I got to get back to my feet. I got to
that's
get
right.
this person. Yeah,
I would.
especially if another person is involved or whatever, and you're like, man, I got to get. You're scrambling.
It
So
being
Brazilian Jiu
pinned too.
Jitsu
Yeah,
it has taught me to maintain the composure. That if I got a 300-pound man trying to, you know what I'm saying, pretty much beat the hell out of me, I know how to maneuver to try to make it work against him. So it's just, yeah. What do you say?
uh-oh, Pops is watching the Boots fight again. He stopped watching Gunsmoke to see Stan get dog walked again. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. Shout out to Pops, cause man, it was a good fight. It was a good fight.
Mhm.
Also, yeah, that night's Big Shot Shaw. I was happy to see him. That was beautiful. In less than dang 30 seconds, he knocked it. I thought dude was gonna handle him there for a second, or just give him some good work. He threw that right.
And
That
Shaw,
didn't last long.
I said it because we had talked about it. We was like, this is way back when we were saying when Wilder should come back, and I was like, yeah, he needs to fight Big Shot Shaw. They need to go ahead and get to it, and that's what I was pushing. I was really kind of pushing for that fight, and now it kind of raises some eyebrows. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because Big Shot Shaw, like I said, he took a step back to come forward.
yeah. He took a couple.
So, you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, bro, he was holding himself. And I guess, you know what I'm saying, conversations with Kano, you know what I'm saying, he let me know, you know what I'm saying, some inside behind the scene things that's going on. Like life, when life starts to
Hmm.
life. You know what I'm saying? So I understood that. But a focus, you know what I'm saying, Stephen Shaw may, you know what I'm saying, rewrite itself back into, you know what I'm saying, the
Well,
short talk.
initially, yeah, we thought that. That's why I say, first of all, salute, Coach Hudson. How you doing, brother?
There you go.
Peace, family. How y'all doing?
What's going on, champ?
Ah, but it's a late night hype. Oh, there go my brother Tay too.
Hey,
Hello,
listen,
world.
Yeah. Hey
that
Tay.
that
So
fight had me, man. Listen, I've been hype all
I
weekend.
know I saw you earlier today, Lord. I saw you.
All weekend I've been hype. I was like, man, let me calm down. Shoot, but you know, I wanna. I don't know if y'all know this thing, but I watched the press conference with Eddie, and I'm listening to him, and I have the only problem I have with him is I realize that he doesn't mind when the American black fighters have to take a pay cut to fight these Eastern
Yes.
Europeans. But when Boots brought it up, he was like making sure, well, I just want y'all to know we ain't taking no pay cut to fight no brothers, basically, without saying it.
Look, Coach. it was a lot of stuff that bothered me in that post press conference. But that about Eddie, I have also said before. He seems to be a nationalist to me. Now I don't mind that because yeah, you're from across the pond and I get it. But I just find it really jacked up that he's getting all these brothers in his camp. But then he does stuff like what he did to Brian. He made a spectacle out of that young man. And
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, he never talked about Barrios and the fact that he had offered them, he and Stanny on his money, apparently. I couldn't find the interview. I tried to find it for the live, but I want to say he said he offered both 2 million. But Eddie lies so dang much too. But he said he offered Barrios and standing on his 2 million that they both declined. So at the time I was like, so wait a minute, you offered them two, but you offered
Mm-hmm.
Brian 1.5, and you would not work with him. You wouldn't work with
Facts.
him to not have that fight in Philly. It
Mm-hmm.
was oh man, look, I was going on for a long time about that.
But yeah, they
Yeah.
keep going over there trusting Eddie if they want to, you know. And the only thing with Boots, the only thing I'm worried about, because it's okay if you get hit sometimes, but when you making mistakes and you just it seemed like it don't matter. I feel
Mm,
like if he runs into somebody that is just as athletic as he is, that can time him, I think he's gonna get caught and not be able to recover moving up. I hope that doesn't happen. But to address the UFC thing real quick, what I'm starting to realize the last few months, every time it's brought up, I don't think boxing fans have a good understanding of what has happened in the last 30 years with the UFC. You have to think about boxing's been around in America, what, 120, 130 years, right? The
mhm,
UFC is already catching up marketing wise. And we're talking about one promoter now that has pretty much changed the whole scene. When we were kids, the UFC didn't even have rules like that. They didn't even have weight classes.
It was almost a
Okay.
sideshow.
Now watch this. When by the time I got to college, the UFC had a TV series called The Ultimate Fighter. And Dana White built up, he takes fighters from scratch and builds them up. They can come from the middle of nowhere, have no experience.
mm,
They'll get their training and everything. And he'll make his own brand. That's something that boxing has never been able to deal with. You have to go through the ranks. Either you
yeah.
have to be some type of amateur champion
Amateur
or you
pedigree.
have to have a hell of a professional career like a Canelo or a Devin Haney that starts really young, but even they had experience as amateurs. I
Mm,
think sometimes as boxing fans we don't remember that for a long time American white males have not been able to dominate boxing. You know where they can go and dominate? They can go to the
Europe.
UFC.
Oh, yes.
The
Say
the
Europe.
the we do not boxers don't set the price of the industry. Okay, if
Mm,
if the majority of the country is following Dana White, you got to remember now, Hispanics make up a lot of the boxing fans. We don't make up as much as we think we do. So if you have a bunch of Europeans and white Americans following Dana White, they can pretty much take over the sport where our skill set in American boxers doesn't matter anymore. So
mm,
if you are a real boxing fan, don't sleep on Dana White. You need to keep your eye on it and make sure you're calling for the best fights and putting that pressure because if our fighters make the same mistake that Errol Spence and Terrence made, that for other reasons Floyd and Manny Pacquiao made, that's a little different situation. But if they keep on making these fights take 3, 4, 5 years,
mm.
boxing as we know it, it ain't gonna be no more of this anymore. You're gonna be seeing an average Joe promoted by Dana White fighting whoever. And you're like, man, what is this? You gotta remember last year the biggest fight was Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. So don't never think it can't happen.
Oh, wait, I missed the comment here. Okay. The money's been funny with Eddie since he signed and dismissed the. Oh, yeah, boo boo.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, but he's willing to give out money for certain individuals,
Mm-hmm.
lots of money. Which again, and Canelo ain't no white European male.
Mhm.
AJ
Mm-hmm.
ain't no white European. I mean, but that would be his nation man. Which I said I feel like he's a nationalist. Um, yeah, I don't know, dude. Eddie. I cannot stand him. And I do have some film of him that I did want to go over.
What promoter can you stand?
No, well, none.
No, no, no,
But
yes.
but but, but
Because
I'm feeling a certain
everybody got
kind
their
of
pro and
way.
con. Remember, I told you it's a pro and con to everybody. It's like, which one do you want to put up with? You know what I'm saying?
It's some
I,
new stuff that Eddie did though that just got me in a tailspin.
mhm,
The post press conference, and firstly after the fight,
mhm,
um, okay, they asked Boots specifically, who do you want to fight next? And he said he basically and was he going to move up? Did he have intention to move up? He didn't answer, and he said, that they're going to take the time to celebrate and take their time off. Okay, yada yada.
mhm,
But then it's just always Eddie coming in with the BS and what really is irking me. He keeps bringing up Brian's name. Why ain't
mhm.
you talking about Mario, dude? Mario talking about fighting Pacquiao and possibly Arrow. Now I'm hearing the hell. Why are we not talking about Mario Barros, who's been the champion the longest?
Because he's just a belt
Mm-hmm.
holder.
They well,
That's it. Any look. That's somebody. If I called you, Coach Hudson, and say, "Hey, whichever one of y'all get to the store first and pick that package up for me," you know what I'm saying? You can find out when you get there. You got the belt. That's all. That's all Barrios is right now. So
Yeah.
almost anybody can pull up on. And I hate to say that, but Barrios has been through some wars. He's a
we
shell of
know
himself.
that,
Yeah. So
but
like I
he's
said,
holding
so
that belt. He better get ready to go through
that's
another
all he's
one.
doing. He's just holding it. That's all he's doing.
Well,
Yeah.
and you know what that means? That it's stalled out. It gets stalled out. Now, okay. Initially, when all this the bull crap began with Eddie going after Brian before,
Mhm,
I said that I would like to see everybody collect as many belts as they can, and at the end we get a Brian and we get a Boots.
mhm,
But at this point, after what we saw last night, I wouldn't mind seeing the Brian Norman fight next. Now I do know Brian also has stuff on the horizon, like possibly a Nakatani. Is that guy's name?
no,
Not
no,
Nakatani.
I can't think of his name. But look, let
Sasaki.
me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Why wouldn't B Norman ask for a Barrios fight?
Well, he called him out.
He did. What did Barrios say? Did we hear anything?
We
Yeah.
never hear nothing from Barrio.
That's what I said. So just
Until
pull up. Look, he's letting you know it's okay. You ain't even got to call before you come. Just pull up. The package is on the porch. Just come pick it up.
But okay, with that said, we go back to the fact that Barrios he don't say nothing, and
Mm.
what we're hearing is Pacquiao and Arrow or Arrow.
Earl at 47 again. I'm hearing that.
That pisses me off too. I didn't even get
I don't.
to that
He just
part.
said I've been, and he said it himself. He said I've been at this weight for my whole career. I can't make it no more. And you ain't been in the ring be 2 years in July.
We
You,
ain't heard Errol say nothing though, so I
yes,
always stick with that. Errol ain't said nothing.
no,
But
you
I
don't
don't
ever
like
know.
that it's floating out there. I don't like that. I
I
don't like
don't.
that he's trying to fight Pacquiao. What the heck? Oh,
Yeah. I don't. I
Why
don't know what that's about.
they allowing that?
But let me correct something because I see Steph Brown saying don't compare UFC to boxing. All right, so I love boxing. I'm a boxing fan. I understand that they're two different sports, two different skill sets. What I'm talking about is those of us that actually love the sport that's been seeing, a big fight every what maybe 2 years or so. Um, w- the sport is dying, is what I'm saying. The sport as we know it is not what it used to be because of what's happening. And you have a sport like the UFC, they're using their marketing and they're coming up. Think about the TV networks that have canceled their contracts with boxing. The UFC has 3 or 4 of them. So, it's not about us just loving. It's great that we love boxing, but what I'm saying is, if these big fights don't start happening more frequent, and you have a sport like the UFC, you got to remember the world does not revolve around us. If the UFC is putting on 3, 4, 5 big fights a year, more people are saying, "Hey, man, I'm not signing up to watch, Canelo fight this dude named Skull that I don't even know. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the Fox real quick and see what they're doing."
Mm,
Matter of fact, on a Saturday night, if you walk into any bar, most bars are playing a UFC match on the TV.
Hmm.
Everybody
yeah.
can attest and agree to that. So, don't sit there and it's not about you comparing the two sports. It's about, hey, are we getting the best fights? Are we seeing steel sharpening steel? And if not, the people need to call for it and stop this. Well, this is my favorite fighter, so they don't even need to fight this guy because I've already, like, we got to stop that mess. That's what I'm saying.
Hmm.
That's kind of how I feel like. That's why I was calling some people that are out here that are supporting Boots. They're like turning into little tank fans. Like I feel like the whole arguments out here right now with Brian and the money and calling him a duck. It's like y'all don't want that fight, just like y'all didn't want Tank to fight Devin. I just
Weird.
I'm tired of it, and I heard the brothers on the Usual Suspect 6 talking about um these guys possibly taking years to fight, like it being another Errol and
But
Errol and Bud situation. Ain't nobody trying to wait that long. And it's
Mm-mm.
the same stupid thing division, y'all. Like I don't nobody want I don't think it will for one. I don't
no, I
think it
don't think it
will.
will either
Mm-mm.
because of the supporting cast that I was talking about.
Right. Okay. I nobody wants to stomach that all over again.
Mm.
I don't want that toxicity. I be tapping out when people start getting all crazy and weird. Be it the whole Devin and Ryan drug cheat thing, Bud and EJ fight. Like, eh, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to deal with that. I'll keep
Facts.
that right there. Nobody need that. Well, blessings, Shaquila Fields. Thank you for coming in, big sis. I appreciate you. I kind of got my stuff off my chest. Like I said, maybe some stuff, maybe still with Eddie. Eddie saying that, he said, how did Boots get the IBF belt, y'all?
Through the email, like everybody else got their book.
Who did they take it from though? How did
Well, I don't know. Let me know.
Crawford? They
Oh
took
yeah,
it
yeah,
from
because
Crawford.
yeah. Well,
So why he put EJ's name out there and say he got it from EJ?
who said
EJ
that?
didn't want to fight, but I mean EJ didn't want to fight Boots. This
Oh
is
no,
what
he
he
didn't.
said.
No, no, because that was the initial fight. Because Boots was asking for Earl when Earl had the belt.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it didn't happen.
yeah.
And then when Bud got it, he was asking for the Bud, and so
He didn't get it.
yeah,
So
so
then, but that's the way he got the actual. He got put into the champion spot of the email. It's because
mhm,
they took it from Bud after he beat EJ.
yeah. But we
Mm-hmm.
knew those belts was going to get scattered once Bud left anyway. I said once the Infinity Stones got put back out there, it'll be who of these young guys, i.e. the B Normans, then the Boots Ennis and the Stay On, to start collecting these stones.
Obviously, yeah, but okay. Even when Boots, because he was in all the rankings before he got that interim belt,
Hmm.
and I didn't want him to. I didn't want him to go after that interim because I knew that he would get taken out. Then he wouldn't be like right under Stanionis or at the time Virgil. So I was like, why are you doing that? Why are you gunning for this IBF when you could just stay number one and across the board in all the rankings? But either way, Eddie just lied. He was like, this is how he that's how he said Boots got the belt. And it just kind of ticked me off because Boots and Bozy just sat there like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, he's lying.
Hmm.
Can you go correct this dude? that, and again, just to bringing up Brian Norman's name again, talking about he better grow some balls, and it's like again, no word on Barrios, no nothing. That yeah, that post, I just doesn't feel in that stuff. And then they
Yeah,
they
he
still
talk.
didn't call out nobody either. But you gonna talk shit about Brian, but you don't want to call him out. Yeah,
That's
that
crazy. That's crazy. Y'all are missing your moments. Like, what is going on? And is it just me, or does Boots and Devin Haney get hit with the same punch? Like, what's going on?
Look,
It's the high rise stance at the wrong times, coach. They raise up and then they're going straight back. You know what I'm saying? And they try to look it off, and you're not looking off that punch going straight back.
Yeah, I don't like that, and I think that Boots sometimes doesn't realize he's still in range.
Yeah.
I
Like
don't
if you
think he
throw,
cares. Do you think he
yeah,
No,
cares?
I
no,
think he
no,
cares. He just don't know. Coach hit it
yeah,
on the head. I don't think he realizes how he's is not good judgment.
yeah,
Some
he
of
thinks
these
he's,
guys, I feel like they can take that. Even Boots with some of the clean shots he got, it was like I took that, but look, it's just like I don't know, man.
I
When
saw
can
those
it
as the
be?
mistakes that he made. I don't
Those
think.
were mistakes.
Yeah, and I'm saying the punches the ones that he wasn't. You can see he wasn't expecting. I saw those as all mistakes. He didn't want to get hit with those punches.
yeah,
But man, there are some fighters that don't mind getting hit with particular punches for their opponent to grow confidence. But I don't think Boots does that. He's a reactive fighter.
yeah, he has to stop staying in range, especially if he's going to showboat. Like when Roy Jones used to showboat, he would
Hmm.
be out of range after he hit you 4, 5, 6 times, and the
Hmm.
fighter would be like, "Whoa, what? Where you go?"
Yeah,
Boots will do it and stay right there. Now I'm
Take a
going to
picture.
show you something sneaky that those Eastern Europeans do in their boxing style. When Floyd Mayweather would do his pull counter, he would put his head a little bit over his lead foot and
Hmm.
then pull back, right?
Yep.
So what the Eastern Europeans do is they'll hold the high guard and they'll look hunched over. They're actually trying to get closer to you, but they look far away.
Hmm.
So that shot that Stanionis was hitting him with, that's exactly what he was doing. Because he looked hunched over, Boots was
mhm.
not seeing he's actually still close to me, and he would just throw it out there, boom, a straight shot. It's not so much the hook because he has like a half. Boots carries like a half Philly shell type of stance. So he can always block that hook, but Stanionis was just going straight down the middle. Boom, boom,
And he does. Yep.
and it looked like those shots was, it was thumping, even if he wasn't hurting.
Hmm.
If Boots moves up, when he does eventually move up, he's gonna have to. When he does, he cannot just think, "Oh, I'm just gonna, take these shots." Man, you're gonna get knocked out doing that.
Hmm.
So you just said something that I'm curious about, and you two are coaches, so I'm curious. He's gonna have to move up. There was a lot of talk, and I even brought up the fact that he looked thin, and it was a couple of days before the actual weigh-in. Come the weigh-in, he did fill in, like he looked healthy, but I'm still gonna say Boots was thinner than I've seen him. And going along with after the fight with them questioning him, are you gonna move up, and him not answering anything, and then based on the performance, what do you guys think? What do you see? Do you see him staying at 47, or is he just gonna unify maybe and then say, hey, I was a champion, and now I'm going to 54?
As long as he's listening to his body, if his body says he can do it, and not what nobody else is saying, like the fans or his team. If he listens to his body and he feels strong at 47 still, I say do it. But if I say do that to capture the accolade that you're trying to get, becoming undisputed. So go ahead and do it, and then do it twice. You know what I'm saying, at 54, if that's the case. But I say stay the course if you still feel strong.
Yeah,
Yeah, he looked strong. He looked incredibly strong to me. And I mean the way he was hitting
it really
Stanionis, I could
was.
see him standing on his
It
face.
really was.
Stanionis was like, "Oh my God, what is what is this man hitting me with?"
I tell
So
you, them body shots off top, I was like, oh my god, it's because I want to say he even faltered with a couple of them first body shots. I was like, oh wait a minute,
Hmm.
now it's only the first round. Jeez, yeah.
right, and
Shout
that
out to Boots,
uppercut,
man.
yeah,
Shout out to Boots. Oh,
yeah,
jeez.
that uppercut to the nose when I think he broke the bridge of his nose was nasty.
Woo.
But he was doing an interview. Boots did an interview and said that this camp was actually the first one where he actually hired a real
Nutrition.
nutritionist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So before it was, I think his mom doing all the cooking.
Mm.
So I think he's realizing like, man, I should have been did this. I might be able to stay here a little longer. So only
Yeah.
time will tell because we don't know what he's feeling. But I mean, the way he was looking um, on fight night, I mean, it's not like he was looking like Frank Martin at the weigh-in.
No, he wasn't.
Nah.
The only time he
And
really looked emaciated was that photo shoot that he did a
Right.
few days before the weigh-in, and it was like with the picture, the infamous picture. That shit was crazy. He
look,
looked.
yesterday's price is not today's price. So if you guys are making the bag now, invest into your body as far as taking care of your nutrition. Like I said, it's not hard to go get a nutritionist. It's not
Nah.
hard to if they're single men, go find you a woman that does meal prep. You know what I'm saying? And listen to service.
Hmm.
You can do this. You can find masseuse. You can find y'all are at you know what I'm saying, these people at your leisure right now. Whether
That's right.
somebody hire them or like I said, you find people that you know. Like I said,
Facts.
everybody that you know, somebody that like I want somebody to handle my money that I know that went to school for it, that I know personally. I want
Mhm.
somebody to give me massages that I know that's going to actually know which muscles they need to work on. Somebody that's going to feed me the proper way throughout the week to make it. Why not?
And who not better than the people you know if you know
You got the
somebody.
money now. Y'all begging for the bag. So if you
There's
want
a
the
lot of
bag,
people who put people through school to do
that's
that
what I'm
too,
saying. Put
you know?
somebody through school to why not? Culinary arts
Yep.
school, that's a quick fix.
Yeah.
That's
That's
what
what
I was
everybody else
saying too
do.
about being on top of your own business,
Yeah.
knowing the business, being more involved. They really do need to be. As far as boxers go, I used to just say, I wish they could be their own promoters because these promoters ain't pissed. But it's just
They can if they put their money up. If they start investing in themselves, if you betting yourself, if you look, just like if us three right now want to build a compound, we got to find the land. We got to do this. Same thing in the boxing landscape. If I know this guy's my brother, that's my brother, we all train together. You know what? When we start getting our money together, we need to start putting
pull
X
it.
amount of percent to the side and start building something for that we want. You know what I'm saying? That we can
Yep.
start pouring into ourselves. Because I want to be paid. I don't want to be the middleman or the last guy to get paid. I know what the money is like at the top when it first
Yeah, I
come in.
want to be in the
Let's
room.
find that out. You know what I'm saying? Whether we
Yeah.
do it in our lifetime in boxing or if we build ourselves to once we retire from boxing, we're now in that position.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
But
crazy that all this time is going by with all of this talent and they have never gotten together and got a union by now. What are y'all doing?
I don't know.
There's no reason why a boxer, I don't care what level he's at, the money that's been made by our talent, there's no reason why a fighter should get out of the sport if he is a professional boxer, should not at least have a pension and be medically covered.
Hmm.
They fighting and arguing over the wrong thing. Y'all are the talent. Don't none of this happen without you. That is your leverage. But you all keep on. You ain't gonna have that anymore. Cause y'all are saying world titles don't matter. You're saying undisputed don't matter. The best ain't got to fight the best. All right, keep on playing. Watch what happens.
They're waiting on the powers that be to do it.
Why?
I don't know. I'm just saying you could tell that's obviously what the plan is. And now that the TKO league is coming, people are kind of putting hope into the fact that maybe they'll do that for those fighters as well. Does Dana do that for the UFC already? Does anybody know?
So so actually the two combat fighters who have been trying to get the Muhammad Ali Act expanded to protect fighters
Oh,
came
expanded.
from they came from the UFC. But they were beefing with Dana White this whole time, and this was going on for about 20 years. They've been fighting for this since 2001
That's
until it was just like they're not gonna get any more help. because there was stuff going on in the UFC that was so dirty that they said, okay, the Muhammad Ali act is going to be the one. But what's crazy is why would you fighters believe that any of the powers that be are going to help you? That's like sitting around saying when people say, well, the commissions check the gloves. If you study the history, you will see that anytime someone has cheated with gloves, it was usually caught by a coach or a trainer from the other side. So the
Mm.
commission has already showed you they don't give a damn about you. Take it into your own hands. What are y'all doing?
People are
Sounds
lazy and they got better
quite
stuff to
right.
spend their money on, coach. Clearly.
Man, that's
And they ain't
crazy.
trying to get together and work with each other to get something done like that. But
That
then when
also,
you have like the Gerald McClellans and the people that are, then it's a big deal. And I don't think people even give money to his sister's donation, her foundation, to help boxers that are,
Nope.
have been hurt. So you would think the fighters would have the wherewithal to kind of pull together and do that. But yeah, I mean, to me, that's almost like, mm, and I don't watch football and basketball and baseball and stuff like that no more. But I just feel like these guys, they take abuse. They never kind of come together to try to make change. They complain. We
mhm.
complain as the people who watch it, but I don't have no power. Power.
Everything
Well,
y'all
you
said, it sound too much like right. That's all.
That's
Sound too
I
much
well,
love
like,
that
yeah.
saying.
It sounds right and it makes sense, and they're like, well, I'm still gonna go left, and you're like, well, why?
and I'm gonna tell you
Because
what else to look out for. All those ladies that's going over to Jake Paul.
you corner the market, you
I'm
monopolize with
talking
women.
about, yeah, I'm like, man, I looked over there, I said, God
Yeah.
dog, he done recruited about 50 women.
He about to have a league, a women's league over there for sure.
But who
Yep,
he take
going to
that page
Netflix.
from? That's telling you that Jake Paul is looking more into the history of boxing than the people that we think should be. He's looking at, remember Bob Arum, he was only looking at small weight guys. Don King was focused on the heavyweights. He's like,
Mm,
know what? Let me corner the market.
get all this.
Let me get the women because I got Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor made $1 million. Women won't make it
Hmm.
that. So he said, know what? Let me go ahead and corner the market and let me get the women. And they're gonna flock because they're gonna flock there because of the results. I still get the
Yes,
chills. I still get the chills from the first Amanda Serrano Katie Taylor fight. That was electrifying in there. That whole arena, it was
you were
crazy.
in there.
No, I'm just
Oh,
saying. I felt like I was there because
yeah, it was
they
good.
missed the bell 4 rounds because I have the intensity that was going on in that arena
It
that
was
night.
good, and
Yeah,
but I
and
will say this: going into this third fight, I think it's something wrong with Amanda Serrano. Y'all, I think she might got women
I didn't want to say
CTE,
that out
dude.
loud,
Like,
but I felt it. I'm feeling it too. She is like, yeah, she not.
oh man, I feel bad. I feel bad, and I'm hoping Katie don't hurt her. I was hoping she wouldn't do this third fight with her.
Mhm.
I truly feel like she won. She was able to pull off both of the first two fights. We saw that last one. That was a hot mess. I just
Mhm.
can't imagine her going through that again, and or maybe worse with the headbutting.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel bad for. And then just to hear her talking, and she's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Oh man, no." Yeah, y'all can't let her. Ain't she a part of the? She's a part of the team now, as far as organizing or having some type of partnership with Jake now, isn't she?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
She could just do that and make money, man. She don't got
But
to
you,
train no
you,
more.
you got that fighter spirit, and ain't nobody telling you no.
She is, Steph. She absolutely is. But she could do that. She can still be visible as well and do that. Like,
Yeah.
but you don't gotta fight. She ain't gotta fight no
Yeah,
Katie Taylors, but
if she get hit with those headbutts this time, and her coach hasn't worked on stepping back and hitting her with uppercuts,
boxing, yeah.
Hmm.
then she needs to stop boxing after this.
Yeah, I said that too.
Yeah, but like KG said, you could tell too, she loves the sport.
But like Coach Hudson said, there's an uppercut. I was saying that the last two. I said, you allow her to come in like that.
Yeah,
Step
uppercut all
back.
day.
Take a step back.
That's
Meet
all
her,
you
meet
gotta
her where
do.
you know she's coming. I call those stop sign punches. Just put the
All
stop sign
day.
on her. Yeah.
But I
But
appreciate y'all having me on. Coach got to head out.
okay, okay.
Understood. Yeah, I'm not trying to keep going here. Uh, I appreciate you both. I
I
got my
appreciate
stuff off my chest. Like I might still do a video because, like I said, I have some film actually of the post press conference, and I don't know. I'm tired. Shoot, I'm tired too, Coach.
All right. Well, peace, family. Till next time.
it. All right, champ. Take it easy,
All
man.
Good
right.
night, Coach Hudson. Thanks,
All
KG. I appreciate you. You knew what the original plan was, but
I know, I
clearly
know.
that fell through.
Yeah,
But you rocked all the way out with me, man. I appreciate that. Cause I know you 2 hours ahead of us, sister.
yeah. It's 12:30. So yeah.
Yeah, I
No,
know.
but no, you asked, and you know what I'm saying. I let it process, and I was looking for the original plans, but at the same time, I told you at the same time I was gonna be here regardless because you asked.
I
So
truly appreciate that because, man, I needed a mainstay. I needed something. Yeah. Well, do you want to let the people know how they can find you, good brother? And
oh man, shout out to the chat. Shout out to Shower once again.
always shout.
Shout out to Coach Hudson for pulling up and gracing us with, you know what I'm saying, with his words. Um, y'all know how to find me. I'm a usual suspect, man. Y'all know what you gonna see me. You know what I'm saying? If you're a part of the LDBC, you gonna see me because I am a usual suspect. You gonna see me in the chats. You might see me trolling in a Comic Con's chat because I got a John Wick versus James Bond battle coming up with me and Act Reach, and John Wick is that guy. That's all I'm gonna say about
Again, John Wick against who? James Bond.
James Bond. You know what I'm saying? But
Ah,
shout out to everybody. You can find me BSing on the Beltway Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So you might see me again on Wednesday, and
and
you'll
the
see me Friday.
Supreme Beast Boxing Talk, y'all. If you
That's
don't
right.
know, now you know. Yeah.
So
Thank you, KG. I appreciate you. And maybe I have to tap you again if that opportunity
yeah,
arises.
do your thing, do your thing, do your thing. I'm right here. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, now the edge is off.
Is it?
It is.
I
It
don't
is.
know. I don't know. I don't
It is.
think so because it's not the thing. But
Don't
hey,
worry about it. Look, look. I played 6 years of football. I had butterflies in my stomach before every kickoff. So if they not there, that means you ain't got no pulse. So if they there, it's for good reason.
okay. Keep me on my toes. Yeah. Okay. All right, KG. Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right, you have a good night. Good night,
You
chat.
as well. Chat. I thank you all for stopping through and listening to me. Again, it really wasn't a rant. I just really wanted to just let it be known that just because people are giving a critique on what they see and how they feel, it doesn't mean that you hate anybody. I think that just is a narrative that needs to die. It's hampering people from just wanting to express themselves. We know the clear difference between somebody hating and somebody just making an observation, right? So with that being said, like I said, I maybe I will still do a video talking about that liar and that snake, Eddie. I'm just over it. Shout out to you all. I appreciate you very much. You all have a great, great, great night. And shalom, family.